Someone stop Checo's shoe from floating away. For the love of God, Yuki, just finish your race. Another race down with Haas in the back. Latifi's aiming for the wall. Michael Massey's been sacked. Ricardo's looking like something's still amiss. I can't believe we woke up for this.
You wanna give me that clap?
It's a better question for Loki.
All right, Loki. For Mrs. Ham's sake, no, not clap.
I don't want.
All right, Loki, you on that? Great start. What's he doing?
Lights out and away we go.
Alright, welcome to another episode of We Woke Up For This. I am joined today by Pleat and Loki. We'll be talking about the latest race. How you two doing, Pleat?
Not bad. Wondering when the inevitable meltdown at Red Bull is coming.
It
Loki?
could be this week. Doing quite well.
Checo. Oh, look at the perfect exclamation marks, too.
I know what I'm doing around some upside down exclamation points.
It should go. All right, so let's start with the beginning of the weekend. What did you have for free practices? I mean, I thought Max was going to just take the whole thing again.
Without disclosing anything, I mean, it was a safe bet.
No?
Red Bull went ahead and just made it interesting for everyone else.
Yeah. And then we have Quali, which was I didn't get to watch most of it, so I'm gonna let you talk about it. But I know we had some issues with Sargent. What was that about? Oh, we lost. There he is.
There.
We lost one of our hosts.
Speaking of issues.
Yeah. So Sargent, let's talk about him for a little bit. What do you got on his Quali? Anyone?
I did not see most of Q1, but from my understanding, and they don't really enforce this rule many places. Brazil was the example they brought up on the broadcast, which is a very valid example of that pit lane entry line. You're not supposed to cross over it. It's a commitment line, so you're either in or you're out. I think the difference is Brazil has a very long pit entry. So does like Baku and a few other places. Whereas Saudi Arabia, it's a very short commitment area. You're in and you slam on the brakes to make the line. And that was a flying cat.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering what that was.
And so
It's a
Sergeant
chunky boy.
Apparently, it was said in the driver's meeting, or I guess the rule was enforced as anything on that line was ruled as being out of bounds. So they deleted Sargent's lap, and he technically had to qualify based upon begging the stewards to be let into the race.
What
But
place would it have
before
been?
that,
yeah,
he was scorching. He was like fourth or something. He was really good.
to
I
put
think
Williams
his
on
lap time was good enough to get him up pretty high, at least into Q2, ultimately.
He was top 5. It was
At the time, but that was
At
I
the
thought
time,
it was
but-
earlier when the session was when that
it was
happened.
fairly early, but it was still a really good time, like a 129 or something. It was
Yeah.
a scorcher. It was a quick
Oh,
lap.
wow.
And ironically enough, he went over the line, not on his qualifying lap, but at the start of it, technically before the lap, but they ruled that was, I believe, still would have helped him.
Really?
That's buns.
Okay. So
Maybe,
if
but
I,
like,
if I mess up number one, okay. So we're gonna have to keep a tally. Where's your board?
been waiting for this moment.
You bought this specifically for the mess ups. Uh, eh. So what other thing of note happened in qualifier besides? I mean, the big note was Max's. There you go. F5 error one. The main one would have been Max's engine just dying.
Yeah, Max's shaft.
He shafted.
Max got shafted by his shaft.
Yes, he had some shaft vibrations, and he had to stop.
Well, they started the weekend by replacing the gearbox, or Saturday morning, I believe they replaced the gearbox before qualifying, and then, yeah, it sounded like he was just chunking another gearbox, but it turned out to be the drive shaft breaking.
So would
Got
he
it back
get
down to the pits, but there's no way you're replacing that in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. So would he get a penalty if he changes it again, or is it 3 that you get?
Drive shaft, I don't believe, is a limited part.
Yeah, I don't think that's on the list.
If it would have taken out the gearbox or the internal combustion engine or any of the other electronics, those are limited parts.
Control electronics. You, Ferrari.
Anything else of note doing this? Checo with the flying lap, Leclerc with the second fastest lap, but then he had the penalty, 10 grid penalty.
It's telling when your second driver puts in a lap that the next closest lap is 0.3 of a second off, and that's an amazing lap. That is a scary car that Red Bull has.
Yeah. Yeah, you heard the comments from Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, it's second race of the year, and there's like W11 versus RB19 talks. Which
Wild.
I don't know.
insane.
What we'll have to see in a couple of races time if that's valid. Maybe someone actually pushing up on their heels
is
so
that-
they actually run that
Yeah,
car.
we are 2 races in. So, like, there's going to be a track ultimately that's going to not be great for them. But the question is not great still a quarter second ahead faster than anyone else?
Right. Yeah. Like it's
Versus
still
a second and a quarter?
Yeah.
True. All right. Anything else of noteworthy in that?
During qualifying, not that I
Leclerc
can
being
think of.
on 1.5 control electronics a race at this point, when he's allowed 2 for the whole season.
Yeah.
Do you think this is gonna be a thing that's gonna come and bite him in the ass again? By Monaco, possibly?
I mean, the likeliness that they're going to need to replace the control electronics again, pretty high. Yeah. It's probably going to happen at Monaco.
Definitely not me going off camera to yell at my dog.
Welcome back.
Yeah, the question, I mean, I don't think the question is when, but how many. How many times are they going to have to replace that? I mean, I would say, you're saying Monaco. I think by Azerbaijan, which is race 4, we're probably looking at another penalty.
That would be intense.
Because a lot of those parts are homologated now. You cannot just go and start changing them unless it is for reliability purposes, which Ferrari and liability has proven to be an issue.
The last 3 years, at least.
7.
I was gonna give him some leeway.
Since Schumacher retired.
That's fair.
Actually, I'll give them 2008 and 9. Those were good years for them.
Who was racing with them at that year?
That was Kimi winning the world title and Felipe losing it on the final corner of the season.
Not bad.
That
All
was
right.
its block.
All right, let's.
The pain from that made Ferrari go into like 10 years of bad luck.
I think they
pain?
still have nightmares.
Did you say Le Pain?
Le Pen.
What about El Plan?
Le Pen and El Plan.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the race. I'm gonna say
Yes.
Checo is asleep yet again at the start of a race.
Yeah. Is he all nerves or is he just like, screw it, the car's got this?
I
Or-
think he doesn't necessarily put a ton of pressure on himself because he knows that no matter what happens, by lap 3, he's going to be able to overtake and be gone.
Or did he see Fernando Alonso being off the starting grid?
I don't think he was there.
Fernando has good race starts. I would say that he showed a very mature race in deciding he wasn't just going to race the Red Bulls.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Definitely, good job, Fernando. But
Our little boy's all grown up at 40-something years old.
41. but Fernando with that little penalty he had, he was trying to give a shout out to his last partner, right? Last teammate, by doing the same error as Esteban Ocon.
Still showing that he's better. He can take the error and then not speed in pit lane after taking another penalty.
But yeah,
And
then
finishing
not
in the
DNF
podium.
because of just giving up.
He's like, I am so
Very
much better than
Am
you.
are we into the race now or
Yes, we're in the race.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have to bring up Oscar Piastri's in plate, flying in the air, jumping about 15 cars, and then smacking Lando Norris's front wing. I mean, what
Are you saying
what
this
are
was
the odds?
deliberate? This was the deliberate move by Oscar Piastri.
I'm not saying it's deliberate, but don't you think it's funny?
Oh yeah,
I think it's funny how
the McLaren pain is real this year. 2 races and just.
I mean,
just
he pushed
hurts.
that wagon to Q3 somehow. Got to give him credit, but
That car has some decent single lap pace. I mean, first race of the year, I'm trying to think. Nando, or no, yeah. How did he do in qualifying the first race of the year? I thought it was better than, was 11th, so he almost drug it to Q3 in race 1, too.
Mhm.
The race pace, though, on that car is...
abysmal.
When they find it, they'll have it.
Aren't they?
Wait.
They're scrapping the whole car, right? They're supposed to bring a whole
No,
other
that's
car.
Mercedes.
That's Mercedes, yeah.
I thought McLaren was too, though.
They have major changes. I think the
Major
quote was
changes.
that they realized when they got to preseason testing that their wind tunnel results, that they made a mistake, basically.
We're wrong.
Well, that was Mercedes. The wind tunnel results were wrong and caused them to chase their tail.
Yeah.
I think McLaren just straight up said they made a mistake, that they saw something wrong or they calculated a number wrong.
And then you have Adrian Newey. He just looks at a car and goes, slippery.
That's
Adrian
the
New
one.
with a drawing board, smacking everyone around with computers.
I want to know the knowledge this man possesses.
What did he sell his soul to do that?
We got to think. I will give Adrian Newey credit. Obviously, he's an amazing designer and has been for a very long time. So long, in fact, that he was designing cars the last time there was ground effect, I believe.
When was that?
80s?
My cat is being very attention hungry right now, so sorry.
Okay.
Say hello.
Hello. So, all right. So we have to talk about Stroll's passing.
The
Carlos
overtake
Sainz.
on the outside.
So gotta give it to him. He doesn't
That was
do
nice.
much interesting racing lately, but that was a good one for him.
Stroll?
Yeah.
I'll give him credit. He did well in Bahrain, too. He overtook
Yeah.
he overtook both Mercedes, or at least Russell.
Yeah, he's a talented driver, and now he's got a really good car to kind of show what it's worth. He's not Fernando Alonso, but
Yeah,
he's not terrible.
I guess I'm thinking like uh last year, like he just didn't have the car underneath him, so
Well, yeah,
but,
he couldn't really said much remarkable about
yeah,
Vettel's season either. So
Yeah, their whole
facts.
had
season last
moments,
year was
but-
not great.
yeah, they
Yeah.
had the green tractor.
We got robbed of our dream teammates though, Fernando and
Vettel.
Sebastian.
Oh, that would have been beautiful. Bring him in for Japan. So, oh yeah, for next race, are we doing we stayed up for this? Do you want to do a
Wait a
live
second. When is this race?
in
Australia, which means that the race itself will be basically in the middle of the night.
Dude, I'm there. I'm here. I'm awake. I'm
What time is it
sincere.
at Central?
It's I
2
think it's
a.m.
midnight. 2 a.m. for me?
No. It'd be midnight for you.
Midnight for me.
1 a.m. for me.
Come on, you're not that old, please. You are not that old.
I
It's a
am not old,
Saturday
man.
night. What do you have to do on Sunday?
It depends.
Nothing. I have to
Absolutely
feel
not.
you.
That's next weekend.
Yes.
Not this weekend, but next, like the first,
Right.
I think.
Yes.
31st.
Yeah,
Wait,
we'll see. I'll have a midterm at some point that weekend I have to take.
I might be working that night. We'll see.
Hold up. This was your idea.
I have a side gig now.
Oh, what? You got a little side hustle?
I do. Let me see the dates.
Listen,
Oh.
it isn't easy for him. He's got to make that extra money by taking off some clothes. Okay.
He's got to pay for those windows somehow.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This has been an all over the play podcast. JCO lies. I got you all excited for nothing, huh?
I'm gonna be here in this VC.
Okay.
Like you can count on that.
Right. Oh, I think I can make it happen. Don't worry. Anyways.
All right.
All right. Where were we? We haven't moved past lap one yet.
We are at lap 1. So yeah, moving on.
All right. And we should have written more things on the talking points today. It's been a long day at work, okay?
I'll throw it out there, so we'll have something to talk about here.
Thank
Thoughts? You probably know where I'm going to go with this. Nando finishes third.
you. Okay.
The penalty. Thoughts for both of you on, was it a valid penalty? The delay or not? Take that out of the equation. Was it valid? And then did he influence them reversing it with his social media?
So I saw that you guys mentioned that the jack did touch before the 5 seconds. So is that working on the car? Yes or no? I would consider yes.
If you take the standard set last week, where they put a wrench next to a bolt and kind of touched it, and that got him another penalty, yes.
But
Okay.
I don't know. It's such a silly, like in my mind. How the hell is everyone on the same page for what a 5 second starts?
Exactly. At this point, FIA needs to put their own timers.
Timer. Yeah, it's like they need to have an audible sound or something when they think that you're.
If you look at supercars in like with WEC and IMSA here in the States, there's literally somebody. I don't think they do inbox penalties anymore. They have you sit at the end, but they literally sit there and put a hand up and go no,
Right.
and then go okay.
If there's a penalty, like if penalties are going to become this common, especially 2 weeks in a row, then each team needs to have a designated penalty server, hand waiver, light turner off or something. Come in with a red light, turn the light off when it's time to start working.
I saw someone suggest that they should just like have like a clock that they just hold up with like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on it.
Yeah, but even then, like
when does it start?
Hundreds of seconds and stuff. Like I think if you go out there with a light, with a timer on. You press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the light turns off. Just like
You
when
could
the lights go
literally,
out.
you could literally have a marked line in each box. You activate the system. As soon as the car hits it, it starts the timer. Like hits it and you know it's not moving.
Or even modes built into the steering wheel.
Yeah.
True.
Because that car knows when it's not moving, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that car definitely knows, and you just mode penalty 5. So
Yeah.
the next time the car stops, it starts a timer. I don't know. There's something that could be done that would be, easier for everybody involved, to make that make sense. But should have been a penalty, maybe. But luckily they had, luckily because I'm biased. But luckily they had all the, the documentation there to be like, it shouldn't be a penalty.
Yeah, they have proof.
Well, yeah, what was it? They had shown
They had
a
7.
few instances of other times where there have been those 5-second penalties where the rear jack had touched the car and they hadn't ruled it.
Yeah, 7 instances.
7 instances.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even the back jack. It was a front jack, but still, it was a jack.
I mean, it wasn't like it was 1 or 2 times. Like we're talking 7 times here that they had ignored it, and then suddenly it becomes an issue
When it's their car.
by what? I mean, how does that decide the fact that they waited 30-something laps to decide if that was a penalty or not?
Right.
37 laps is ridiculous.
When they saw that Russell was close, they're Mercedes fans.
There you go. Now that you have some theories going, do we think Stroll did that on purpose?
Lawrence just calling up.
Yeah. So he can serve the penalty under safety car. And then we have to talk about that safety car too. But FI errors too. All right, conspiracy theory time.
Crashgate.
Crash rate, what? 4.0?
Yeah, speaking of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
And safety cars.
So
We're up to 3.
So what do we think? Did he do it on purpose? No.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think
he tried to pull off the GPS showed him out on track because it didn't track him all the way to the wall.
Because
but there were cameras showing it like the entire time, and there's cameras on the car. You think that they could?
The only thing that I thought. So, I'm gonna draw this. So,
for the people listening to this, he's drawing for us.
Well, you have to be watching, and then
follow us on the YouTubes.
Yeah, YouTube. I'm putting
up for this.
What the fuck are you drawing?
So this is where he pulled off, right? The car's over here, the barrier's here, and all you see on TV is this. Well, I'm thinking maybe the stewards thought the flow of traffic went this way, and therefore a dangerous place for them to be parked would be there. But the flow of traffic went this way, and therefore not an issue at all.
Correct.
That was my thought.
When I looked at the right angle, like a couple inches of his back tire was sitting out. Virtual safety car, if you really would have said it's on the edge.
Yeah, but like, if they thought traffic was this way, maybe they think that the fast approaching cars would have been a problem. That's like the only thing that I could see. They're just being cautious because because looking at it on TV, I didn't know which way traffic was going because when he pulled over, he was by himself.
Well, and the camera angle was weird because somehow he managed to come all the way out and spin it and swing it back around.
Yeah, I didn't.
And so the camera angle would have made you thought that the traffic was coming from the other way, but then the overhead was like, oh, okay.
So, like we already said, I think that should have been at most a virtual safety car, not a full safety car. And the only
30-second virtual at most.
And the only person that got screwed over, well, 3 people got screwed over in this: Ferrari, both Ferrari drivers, and Checo, because he had to build a 10-second lead already over Fernando. So. And the Ferrari drivers had pitted right before the safety car.
Yeah, Ferrari
that
actually
wasn't
had
even Ferrari's fault.
Well, say that again, one at a time, though, because I couldn't hear anything. Loki?
I said that time it wasn't Ferrari's fault.
No, it was a good strategy.
That was actually the correct call. They were going to undercut onto not great race tires that had trouble warming up, be faster than everyone else on the new tires, and probably would have overtaken the Mercedes cars. Maybe Fernando with the penalty.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel bad. I feel bad for them. Every time it's something like they're actually trying to do something well, and then luck gets to them this time. And then there was some bad strategy there with Xavi and Leclerc, not telling him to speed up before.
That was
Ham.
definitely a Ferrari error there, though.
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. That was definitely a
Yeah, it didn't tell him
miscommunication.
to close the gap to cover off Hamilton.
Yeah,
You can't go through a race without at least one Ferrari error. It's a requirement at this point.
it's part of their contract.
That's why they get more money than everyone else.
Errors.
Okay, so we have the reset. Checo just leaves everybody in the dust. And then we see Max Verstappen just coming in like it's nothing, passing everybody. And this is where we see Nando actually not defending against Max. That was not his race.
It was actually a really good strategy to just try and stay within that 1 second. You're not going to pass him. And if you do pass him, you're only going to cause a fight that's going to bring George or Lewis, that interesting teammate dynamic now, back into the mix. It was the right call. It absolutely got him third place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm happy that he didn't try to
let him by and get towed along.
Yeah.
Yeah. did it with Sergio at the beginning of the race, and then did it with Max. How about George completely ignore the team orders?
That's George for you. He's doing the same thing as Max. Max is gonna look out for Max. George is gonna look out for George.
That was the point I was going to bring up. They're doing very similar things, but everyone's talking about one of them because they're in the. Is it because they're in the title race, or is it because it's Max?
I think it's because it's Max and a very loved driver.
Yeah, I think Checo might be the most universally loved driver in Formula One.
Yeah, like Hamilton is
maybe Vettel,
but yeah, but like Hamilton splits people,
Yeah.
Like what? Hamilton splits people, so who would you say is the most loved?
Last year I would have said Vettel.
Yeah,
that's
what
this
year it's Sergio.
Yeah, it's gotta be Perez. So yeah, you guys, one guy that's like just a good guy, like does what he says, and like then you have. I don't know that I can necessarily blame Max, but like it doesn't help that his father's his father. Pretty insufferable guy.
Yeah. Why? Why did he have to do that? Why do you have to dress it up? Like.
Do we want to jump to the end, or do we want to talk about the closing laps?
Let's talk to closing laps before I get all pissed off about.
I want to say because I know you're going to get wound up about Park for May.
Anyways, yes, final laps. We have Max Verstappen and Checo Perez trading fastest laps, which is so fun to watch because there was nothing else to watch on that race besides the McLarens fighting each other. Which Piastri?
Well, fighting them and Sargent. Sargent's tires did
I'm
not
impressed
last.
by Sargent again.
What?
I'm impressed
Sargent?
by him.
Yeah, Sargent Lando's battle was great.
Yeah. Drag race to the end.
Yeah. Well, and just like Loki said, them trading positions for the last couple laps. And Sargent had a couple of really good moves with that over-under on to turn 1 and 2 in that complex.
Yeah, no, like I think once he gets very comfortable with that car, we'll see similar as Albon, maybe some points out of him. But which race do you think the Williams would be Is it Monza again?
Monza. If Miami didn't have Sector 3, I would say maybe Miami, or Sector 2, maybe Miami, because of that long straight. They have a very, very slick car, although it has no aero.
I'm thinking they're gonna need a combination of like Bonza and maybe like a wreck out.
Fair.
But I definitely see them finding their way into the points this year.
Yeah. What are they? So who are they fighting right now? What teams? Williams. Williams is fighting.
Haas and AlphaTauri.
So the
McLaren.
McLaren is the new Williams.
McLaren and Williams, I think, are going to be close all year. I mean, looking at the standings, the first two races, Alfa Romeo has been down there a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Bottas popped an 8th race 1, but
I think
Joe was 16th.
But he did better this race than Bottas, right?
He was
Bottas was
13th.
last. Bottas was last.
Yeah, they were 13th and 18th this time.
So what do you think? Okay, so on Bottas, why do you think they put him on softs when he was 30 seconds behind everybody still? Were they testing stuff? I just don't see like why they would pit him again when he was
Middle
already
finger
far
to Red
behind.
Bull, take the fastest lap.
That's what I was thinking, and I was hoping, kind of, because we would have a tight championship right now. But he never did.
Can Max handle another tight championship?
I think he's a robot, so yes.
Yeah. I think he'd be fine in a tight championship.
I was thinking about this today with Max. Like, if you look back, when he is challenged, like in 2021 with Lewis, he just kind of drives like an asshole.
Yeah.
I see a lot of that though being that like he did not like Lewis.
He didn't.
It's not
but,
a good reason, but like I've seen him race well against other people.
Last year, yes,
Leclerc.
but that was also when he had a car that he knew ultimately over the long run he wasn't going to be challenged.
I mean,
I'm curious to see how he handles Checo.
I wouldn't say that he didn't feel challenged. I think race 1 that he knew Ferrari was going to be a problem. They all said Ferrari was the fastest car at the beginning of last year, and we saw good racing between him and Charles.
Yeah, but I would say even by race 7 or 8, he knew what he had.
Well, yeah, but there was good racing. I'm saying when they didn't, you know, whereas it's always been kind of bad blood with Hamilton. So I think there's a little bit more determination to drive like a dick when you don't like the person that's up there at the top with you.
Yeah,
true. So do you think things are gonna?
If I respect the guy next to me, I'm gonna be a little bit more.
That's fair.
Let's go. Other than like I'm gonna choke you out on the road.
Is part of that group coming up together?
I was gonna mention that.
I think part of
they grew up together.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is, you know, they've raced together their whole lives. They know each other.
And then so they're thinking these are the old people. Let's just get rid of them. Maybe not in those words, but Checo has been what 15 years.
Yeah. In terms of racing aggressiveness, I would love to see a heads-up battle of Nando versus Max. It would be pure chaos because we all have seen Fernando drive with an attitude, just like Max has.
I think they would take each other out.
Yeah,
if they're heads up for the title, they're gonna make like kind of some of Max's moves at the end of that year look like nothing, where Max would just kind of break right at the edge and then force Lewis off the track. Nando's going through the other car. He doesn't give a crap.
Yeah. You finish, I finish, none of us finish. It doesn't matter.
He might go park in Red Bull's spot just so Max can't get a pit stop.
Would that'd be lovely. But yeah. So I don't know. I think I think there's a lot more respect between him and Leclerc because they grew up together. I think we still have to figure out what Max was meaning last year in Brazil. You know, like he knows what he did or something like that.
Yeah, I think the lack of actual responding to the accusation that it was about Monaco pretty much indicates it's about Monaco. Whether I don't think Checo intended to cause a red flag, but I think once he realized that he was going around and if he stopped, it would stop everything. Necessarily the most inclined to stop the spin.
Well, but also, why would you like fuck up your car in order to be first?
That's why it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think he intended to wreck. I think it just happened.
It just happened. Like that's not an easy.
Max's poor attitude about it and throwing an absolute hissy fit doesn't help anything.
Which I don't think it comes from Max first. I think it comes from Jos Verstappen.
Oh, I think that's 100%. The accusation was probably thrown out very quickly. Like the second Max got back to the paddock. Oh, he did that on purpose because he knew you couldn't complete your lap and overtake him.
It's just so petty.
I would love to see Jos Verstappen banned from the Formula One paddock, quite frankly. I think Red Bull needs to get him under control because this race proved it. Max may not be the best at coming in second. He's super competitive. He may not be the best listener to team orders. He does tend to ignore them. But he's racing. Those things happen. You're competitive in racing. You want that extra point so you can say you're first in the championship still. You want things like that.
Oh, no, I don't.
You're throwing a fit in Parc Ferme about Checo winning and refusing to say congratulations to him. That's the baseline that you need to do is say, hey, good job, good race.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, him just standing there with just a freaking, like he got smacked in the face look. Mad, wanting to look like wanting to just walk away. He's like, okay, dude, go home.
Why would you even put yourself on the guardrail if that's how you're gonna act? Like, just don't be there.
Helicopter parent.
Yeah. Like I don't get it. Yeah, they need to get rid of him. I think there would be more of a team if Jos Verstappen wasn't there.
Right. If he wouldn't have Max's ear the second he gets out of the car, I think you're right. I think it'd be Max would probably be better at listening to team orders and be better at playing that team role.
Right. Yeah. I think Max would probably be a better teammate if his dad was so insufferable.
And Max isn't the worst teammate in Formula One. No. I think that belongs to a I don't know. Actually, I'll pose the question and I'll give my answer. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But
what do you think, Loki?
Who you were thinking, or between the two?
Well, who do you think is the worst teammate? And yeah, right now, of all 20 on the grid, if you're in the one car, who do you not want as your teammate?
Ocon.
Facts. Yeah.
Straight up.
Which is ironic because he used to have problems with Checo.
Yeah.
But Checo plays an incredible teammate role, has gone out of his way to help Max.
Right.
Doesn't get it returned, but then every time Sergio does well, wins a race, gets pole, the only noise you hear from the other side of the garage is from Jos.
Yeah.
And it is how Max got screwed.
Yeah. It's like, if anything, you should be thanking him for one world championship.
If he doesn't hold up Lewis pits for fresh softs at the end of that race in 2021 and just holds him behind.
Yeah.
And that's without all the controversy. Because I already see the comments blowing up with Lewis fans and Max fans. 2 years ago, get over it.
PTSD from that. Like, every comment section just getting shredded to bits.
Somewhere Toto Wolff is still pounding the desk.
Yeah.
Just destroying that those headphones.
Yeah. But I mean, Checo did an amazing race. He controlled he asked the right questions to get the answers he needed from his race engineer. Like the run a 33.0 that he was getting, or 22.6 plus 4.
Yeah, 32.6.
Yeah. Yeah, 36 plus 4. Okay, run a 33. Well, what's Max doing? Well, Max at a 32.4. Why would I run a 33 then? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, like, he is learning how to deal with Max Verstappen as a teammate.
Yeah. He's like, well, if I'm being told to slow down and he's not slowing down, I'm not slowing down.
Right.
Yeah, no, like
I'm not listening to the order if he's not listening to the order.
he's not taking my win that I deserve.
Yeah. I didn't
Because
bring
if Max got up there, it was on. Max wasn't going to sit behind him and fly formation to the end. That's not who he is.
Yeah.
No.
Actually,
yeah,
try
I
to
heard-
run away with 5 seconds and call it a night.
Mostly because I don't think you also let him eat dinner if he did that, but still.
Yeah, so I heard a lot of like, talking about how awful it was that he went for the fast lap. I don't think that was a bad thing at all. I think that's just competitiveness, and yeah, if you can do it, right?
Right.
Why not? Oh, so good on Max on that
Not to
one.
mention, it was kind of a risky move given that like the car you'd be kind of being kind of shaky.
Reliability issues.
So it could have been very well a bust moment there. He goes for a fast lap and something breaks. So
yeah.
it was
The issue isn't with Max going for fastest lap. If you've
Not
watched
at all.
if you've watched Formula One for more than a few races, you know that he's going to go for it. That's who he is. The issue is with Max ignoring his race engineer.
True.
And
not
just not
concerned with
responding to
that.
being told to go a certain speed and never going a certain speed and just keep going faster. So, like, that's where maybe Christian needs to pull him aside and go, hey, stop. Because you were told to run a speed, you were complaining about drive shaft issues and more reliability problems, and you kept running a faster speed. You've got to stop. If you're out of that race, it's your fault.
Yes.
And then Ben goes
Alright.
for Verstappen.
Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry. But Checo going to the Aston Martin garage or the mechanics, and because that was his team before Red Bull, so that was a nice touch for him. So good on Checo. I'm a Checo fan. You couldn't tell, but I'm also a Alonso fan. Like, what do we think about El Plan? Is it working? Do we see him fighting the Red Bulls at any point in this year?
no secret they need some upgrades.
I saw a question today is, can Red Bull be out developed by Aston Martin this year? To even be on par, they have to make up a second first, so no.
Unless
Way too much
reliability issues.
But they can be fighting for second.
I could very easily see him fighting for second over the course of the year, given how that car is. He's always going to be there third or fourth or fifth, it looks like. And then all it takes is a couple of breakdowns.
What they need is Mercedes they need to put a big gap on Mercedes before Mercedes brings in the new car. Or they need Mercedes to get the new car wrong.
Is Mercedes going to get, well, I guess they've already gotten 2 cars in a row wrong. Are they going to get 3 cars in a row wrong?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Mercedes is Mercedes.
Even if it is wrong, they can still use the car they've got now, which is still good enough to be fighting the Aston Martin in some way.
Yeah. Even if they don't get Red Bull level performance, they're still going to be better than they are.
Right. They're not going to be any worse because they don't have to stick to that car.
I mean, look at it last year. They started out with a car that was third or fourth fastest, depending on the race. And by the end of the year, they were at least reliably third or second fastest.
All right. But yeah. So El Plan. Are we counting Stroll in this plan?
As a blocker, maybe.
It's a blocker. I mean, but that would be great too. That's a team team sportish. I guess.
Fernando, speaking of teammates, seems to be more into being a teammate this year than in for a long time.
I mean,
I mean, he
he's
tried
happy
with
the
Esteban, though. I will take that back. He tried with Esteban. He tried to coach him up and make him better and be supportive, and then Esteban became Esteban.
defend like a champ, like a lion. But yeah. So now let's talk predictions for Australia and the midnight show for us, which we'll figure it out.
Late night racing.
Late night racing, I love it. I don't have to wake up early. Mrs. Ham might watch it with us, might not. We'll see.
So no one is bringing upgrades until at least Baku or Miami, right?
I thought it was the fourth race at least, yeah.
So that's Baku. So that's Azerbaijan. Okay. I mean, Red Bull 1-2.
Red Bull 1-2 with Alonso right there.
Alonso or Russell, because apparently Hamilton does not like this car still.
Yeah, I think Alonso's still gonna be up there at least for Australia.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a toss up between Mercedes and Ferrari, who's behind Alonso apparently. All right, so what do you think is gonna be there? Is it
In third?
in fourth, I guess.
In fourth? It's a good question because that track is narrow. That track is fast in a lot of it, but with some very slow and winding corners. So it's Saudi Arabia, but with slower corners. Another street circuit, another temporary.
Yeah, and I think Leclerc is the better driver in the Ferrari. We've seen Carlos struggle with that.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Leclerc.
Yeah, I think fourth is going to be Leclerc or George.
What do you think, Loki? Fourth place for Australia.
Australia? I'm going to give it to George again. I want to say, actually, I'm going to change it to Charles. I think he's going to have his day where he doesn't completely die.
I like that having his day means P4 for Charles.
It just means not getting shafted.
Yeah. Sure. I mean,
qualifies well, races well, nothing poops out on him. His engineer tells him everything he needs to know. Things like that.
A good weekend.
Yeah, I mean, without that 10-place penalty, he probably does finish fourth, maybe third in this race. So that's a fair point.
Yeah. And then, maybe without being told, he has to cover off Lewis. He might be able to do a little better job of that.
All right. All right, so we're almost done with today. So we woke up for this award. Loki, who do you have? Bleed?
I need to do a better job of thinking of this beforehand.
Yeah, what is this? What is this award for again?
The fail of the weekend.
Crap.
Oh. And we told ourselves last year we couldn't just say Ferrari every single race, right?
Yeah. Can I say Ferrari this race though? Because I feel like that was the big oops.
We gave it to Esteban last race. So yeah, we can
This
give it to Ferrari.
So we can give Ferrari this one. This one goes to Ferrari.
Okay.
So just specifically, Xavi.
Xavi, congratulations. You have won. We woke up for this award.
From Loki. Is it for everybody?
I mean, I was going to say Xavi too. So, what,
right,
please?
so
Is it unanimous?
Stewards.
To who?
The FIA stewards.
That's a fair point.
All right. So,
Not just, I mean, the safety car isn't on them, obviously, but the Alonso penalty is an absolute joke and makes a mockery of that process.
Penalty, unpenalty, penalty, podium, award.
3 different photos of someone holding the third place trophy, claiming to be on the podium.
shout out to the Mercedes social media person just changing it to P4 on the picture. Beautiful.
That was very cheeky.
I love it. All right. Any final thoughts on this race?
He never disappoints. Big fan.
I
Like the track. I was skeptical, but I like it.
It's a good track. I like it. I enjoy the fastest lap trade off. That was fun to watch. Let's keep that going.
Got to have something interesting if those two are just going to run away with the championship.
All right.
Oh,
Final
and actually, I
thoughts?
was thinking of the comparison earlier of if this goes the distance, are we going to see anything like 2016?
Remind me what happened in 2016 because I was totally watching during that time.
Nico versus Lewis. This is probably a question we'll throw out so we can address it again after the next race. Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, childhood friends turned intense rivals. 4 years straight of battling for the title ends the way it does.
And so, is this the Nico that beat Lewis Hamilton in Equal Machinery? Is that the one we're talking about?
The one that will constantly remind you of that? Yeah, that's the one. The one that got beat 3 times but beat him once and will never shut up about it.
That's the one. All right. Well, I think that's our wrap up. It was an interesting race. We'll see you in Australia. So, do we want to do a live at midnight?
To be determined for me.
If anyone's here, sure.
Okay.
Sure. But if it's just me, I'm not doing it.
Well, yeah. If it's a team, yes. So if we get 2 or more, we'll do it.
Yeah. Where the hell is Soldier?
He is traveling for work right now.
That's no excuse.
Yeah. We haven't seen Soldier this season. Or Mrs. Ham.
Yeah.
But
what the hell?
But Mrs. Ham has been here.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's not gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cut.
Oh, with that note. Oh, thank you for joining me, gentlemen.
Was coming for Loki's whole soul.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in Australia.